Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at a new form of Nuke build, as the updates have provided us with an absolute gem. This build will wipe the map quickly and efficiently, and allow you to take out bosses even faster than my original build. So how this came around is that there are some Pax Trees which were being underutilized. Burrowing Charge and Hastened Influence got huge buffs as a result. But why is this important? Well, Hastened Influence is going to reduce your cooldowns massively. However, there is a strategy to doing this, and that's from applying statuses to enemies solo or collectively in a group. Firstly, welcome to Dakes Gaming. If you're new to the channel and are looking for builds and guides surrounding Outriders and other looter shooters, do consider subscribing. If you like the video, please remember to smash that like button, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I do also reply to every single comment. Do put me to the test. I wanted to keep this similar to the base build. We're applying Blightfire through constant application of Toxic, but we're doing it in a way which comes from fixing wave and blighted rounds this time. As you may be aware, we went with lethal devices in the original build because your gadget skills apply Toxic as a result of lethal devices making Toxic application one of the most effective ways to do things. However, there is now another way to do this, and there is also a much better way to deal consistent damage through a way which wasn't that viable before, but also allows for you to do some insane damage to elites and bosses. I'm afraid that this is still not suitable for the final Arbiter, and if you're able to, I'd strongly suggest changing to a turret build when doing this, as it's more effective. I've got a video that you can refer to in the top corner, and just to illustrate how fast the changeover is, you can see here that it takes me little to no time to change over. But it's fantastic for everything else, and I'd rather just be upfront and honest about it than tell you it's going to work and you come back and be like, hey Dake, this ain't working, why do this? Well, don't worry guys, I got you. So going into the build now, we're going to be looking at the class tree first, and we're going for a hybrid mid-tree build because that's what we're looking to do here, is boost our AP as high as we can while taking advantage of resistance piercing. So taking advantage of that 45% AP bonus and overclocked is going to make a huge difference with an additional 40% AP when we use our gadget skills. We are going to be missing Adrenalizing Antenna though, as we're using rounds, and it's only good for 10 seconds, so that node can be better placed elsewhere. As a large majority of our damage is coming from freeze damage and freeze usage, we're going to focus on nodes which increase damage to frozen enemies, which totals up to a 40% extra damage. We're then going to be dipping into vulnerable and the extra efficiency of 40% on that vulnerable, which roughly translates into about 21% extra damage from those two nodes, as we'll always be applying vulnerable to enemies through fast application of freeze. On our Pax Tree, we're hitting the bottom tree, and we're going with the Undying, which in a nutshell means that the less health you have, the more damage you'll deal. Override is where you're going to be noticing a big difference in AP from increased skill life leech. Currently I'm at 50%, which transfers into 50% additional AP, but when I lose health, this can go up to and over 100% I'd imagine, but it is difficult for me to confirm because you can't really go into a menu that quickly when in battle at that HP, otherwise you're just going to die. Apocryphy is a healing node, which is nice to use. I rate this one the highest. Hastened Influence is where the magic happens, however, and this is going to destroy your cooldowns so quickly in solo, and even more so in group play, because your team actually can reduce your cooldowns for you. Like, for real, how crazy is that? Zero cooldowns has a new definition now. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then we have Burrowing Charge. I personally haven't touched on this one yet, but I've known about it for a while, and it has potential to hit some silly numbers as you're hitting for 250% of your current AP. It's great for downing bosses quickly, and I've hit over 100 million damage in a single shot using this node, which is absolute madness. Moving on to Ascension Points, you'll want to focus on Anomaly and Prowess mainly, but you'll want to focus on a few other things too. As an Anomaly build, most firepower mods are going to do absolutely nothing for you. So what you want to do is start with anomaly damage, anomaly power, skills life leech, resistance pierce, status power, armor pierce and cooldown reduction, then look to focus into damage against elites, critical chance and damage, and then your endurance nodes. Skill wise, we're going to be using Fixing Wave, Blighted Rounds and Cold Snap. This is where it gets really interesting, and I'll explain to you why this is the best way to do things as we go through our armor. So for our armor, we're looking at pieces that offer the following: anomaly power, skills life leech, status power and cooldown reduction. Everything else is really not ideal and should be avoided if possible, but let's be real, it's difficult to make a min-max build in worldslayer, so just work with what you can get. Helmet wise, I'm running Anomaly Echo, Alchemic Mastery and Icicle Storm. Anomaly Echo will always be activated, giving you a good boost of AP. Icicle Storm is just meta and deals a ton of damage, absolutely fantastic for clearing enemies quickly. Alchemical Mastery is one of those OP mods which will boost your AP by 15% of your status power, which if your status power is quite high, then expect to see some really big numbers. Chest wise, I'm running the Flame Leopard chest piece, and this has Party Starter, Breathe In and To the Bone on it. Party Starter intensifies the skill up to 100% in strength, which directly impacts Bad Medicine. To the Bone will increase your AP by 15% and is a great addition to the build. Breathe In reduces the cooldown and applies weakness, which will mean that you take 30% less damage from enemies, which is helpful for you and your allies. On our legs, we're running the Flame Leopard legs, and the mods we're using here are Virulent Compound, Ice Ice Baby and Shatter. Virulent Compound and Shatter are there for the multipliers on enemies, and Ice Ice Baby is there to deal that sweet 2.2 mil extra damage to enemies affected by the skill already, which is surprisingly easy to trigger as you get your cooldowns so damn fast. On the gloves, we've gone with the Techmonger's gloves, and this simply is because they're the best I've got. If I was able to, I'd pick up some purples with the same rolls, but anomaly power instead of max health. We're using Painful Chill, Radical Therapy and Arms and Anomaly. Painful Chill is OP and should be used in all instances. It is the top performer in my build and will constantly be your best damage dealer alongside Burrowing Charge. The other two mods are there as a multiplier and also to increase your AP through critical shots. And finally onto the boots. We're running the Flame Leopard boots, which have Bad Medicine, Quartermaster and Unstoppable Force on them. Bad Medicine is going to apply Toxic within a 10 meter radius, which helps inflict Blightfire very quickly to enemies. Mainly those that have more health, because the little mobs will die very quickly from Cold Snap due to Painful Chill and other mods. Quartermaster is essential to keeping the rounds up, and you'll be able to impact your team in a positive way using this as well. Unstoppable Force is going to boost your anomaly power by 50% of your resistance piercing, so getting your resistance piercing as high as you can will really help you out. Having Captain Hunter or Euthanizer in this build would be a bonus, but it's hard to fit everything in, and it isn't always possible to get everything 100% perfect, even though we would like to. So as a breakdown to how this all works, we're applying 3 status effects: Toxic, Freeze and Weakness to enemies within a 10 meter radius. Doing this allows us to constantly reduce our cooldowns significantly, and also when Toxic is applied 3 times, it turns into Blightfire, so effectively we're using 4 statuses, but one takes longer to apply. By doing this, we'll see our cooldowns reduced from 8 to 10 seconds to pretty much being instantly available. Weapons wise, I swear by my pistols, Torment and Agony with Fortress and Mage Rage. However, for this build, I found a lot of success from the Wicker submachine gun with Fortress, Mage Rage and Ash Bullets, the T3 version. It has all the right attributes on it and is brilliant for aiming close and far. If you're able to get one of these, it will be absolutely amazing for you. Playing the build is pretty simple, to be honest. Make sure you've got rounds active, spam abilities and rinse and repeat. Hitting those crit shots will be key, as this will mean that you're activating Burrowing Charge which will do a lot of damage in a single shot as it goes off your max AP by 250%. To put this in perspective, I am able to hit 3 million AP just standing still at the camp using a few abilities, but this should be nearer 4 million in combat. 200% of that is 10 million, and then you have to factor in a metric ton of multipliers. You can hit some stupidly high numbers, so be sure to let me know how you get on, and I'd love to hear how high your damage gets. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.